So it's day 36 of the daily dollar cost average of Bitcoin. And again, we'll get right to it. Um, I'll just put $333 from the stablecoin DAI over to Bitcoin. Okay, so there you go. And as you can see, Bitcoin is up 5.3% today. I'll just take a look at the altcoins that I have right now. I don't think they're doing so well right now. So what's Chainlink doing? Chainlink's up 0.13. No big deal. We'll look at Cosmos. Up 1.16. No big deal. Algorand. Take a look at that one. It's up 1.25. Yeah, so they're not really doing anything right now, but whatever. It's for diversification purposes. And I think, Chainlink's got some potential. I think all three of these have some potential. So that's why, I have them. And again, you don't want to just be in one thing. But I think Bitcoin's doing, reasonably well right now. So again, we'll go to so I have almost 20% of a Bitcoin, which is pretty good. It's not great, but I was hoping for it to go down. And like I said, I'll be the first to admit, I thought March was going to be a bad month for Bitcoin, but there's still a lot of the month left. We're not even halfway there, but I'm saying I thought for sure we're going to see a correction. It just keeps going up. So, and again, that's why you daily dollar cost average, because as far as I'm concerned, and that's why I look at these analysts every day. None of them are right. Nobody knows. See, the sad fact of the matter is nobody knows. I'm not saying I know. Like I said, I had a guess. I thought that March is usually a bad month for Bitcoin, especially after a huge bull run like that. Within 1 year, it went up 10 times. So I'm thinking to myself, it's gotta have a pullback. It's not pulling back. It keeps going up. So again, but and at the same time, in my own personal opinion, you want to, mitigate risk. So you just go in a little slow at a time, right? You might not make as much, but again, you're not taking on the volatility either, right? So anyways, that's basically where I'm at with that. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but that's the way I'm doing it. And I'm going to stick to it. And if, like I said, if it goes down, I'll take advantage of the downturn. But as it stands right now, it just keeps moving up, right? So if you look at the year, like I said, like if you were to look at it, yeah, pretty much a year ago. So that was that say? I'm not sure what, excuse me, what date that was. But it would have been March 2020. So this is basically a year ago. It was down to like 5,000 something, I think. 6,000, whatever it was. But I think this just changes because it's a moving average. But the actual nominal rate was down to like 5,800 or something like that. But and now it's like 58 or 60,000 and change. So it's about 10 times. Like that's incredible, right? And so this huge run up for Bitcoin, $74,000. Now it's up 6.34%. Look at the year, man. Like look at this. The 1 year. Yeah, here it is. It was down to 6,200. I think it was lower than that. Because again, it's a moving average, so it changes. I think it was down to 5,800. But again, you're at 74,000. That's insane. That's just insane, right? And just the last month or whatever, just since look at this, since December, 23,000 to 74,000. That's insane. That makes that blows my mind. But anyway, so yeah, we'll look at some YouTube videos just to see what these people are saying. And again, I just like to keep my, keep in the loop of what, other analysts are saying and so on and so forth and critique them. And again, I'm not trying to say I'm smarter than any of them or anything like that, but I just, I like to look at things and kind of analyze it. Like, why are they saying what they're saying? Right. But anyways, like, again, like this guy here, this crypto, like mugging for the camera and stuff like that. Like, it just, to me, that just makes you look non-credible. That's just my own opinion. Like, maybe for the younger crowd, he's got 43,000 views. I got none. So he must know what he's doing. But again, this is what I'm saying, is that if you see these people with these huge followings and they're doing these over the top things, you have to question, is there information based on credibility, or is it based on getting, more people to watch? Because if you're a master of like entertainment, doesn't mean you really know what you're talking about. And I used to see that all the time, like with stockbrokers and stuff like that. Like some of the best stockbrokers, they knew next to nothing about the stock market, but they had a very good presentation. They were able to convince people they knew what they were talking about, but they didn't know what they were talking about. And I knew that for a fact. And I'm not saying everybody who's, enticing doesn't know what they're talking about, but I'm saying you have to look at it like, why are they over the top, exaggerating things and so on and so forth. But anyways, that's just my own little take on it. But I really don't see anything today for, anything that's standing out, because I think a lot of these were out yesterday. Bitcoin about to explode, but it's already exploding. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't really tell me anything. It's already going up and it doesn't seem to stop. So, but anyways, we all know the story about the stimulus check. It's going to pump everything. Insane Bitcoin buy signal. New ATH imminent. I don't know what that is. NFTs. Those are non-fungible tokens. Yeah, they're going crazy. Maybe you watch this guy. Might watch him. We'll take a mental note to look. I don't like this guy. The Kaiser report. And again, I don't like when you see Kaiser and Peter Schiff, you know how it's going to go. Peter Schiff, gold's the greatest thing, even though hasn't done anything in the past 10 years. Bitcoin's the greatest thing. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. You know what they're going to say. And I'm not, criticizing either guy, but I've heard the conversation so many times. But like, I really don't understand Peter Schiff. Like, he's supposed to be an investment guy, a numbers guy. You can show him irrefutable proof that gold has not returned anything in the last 10 years. Let's just pull up that chart. Okay. We'll say gold prices 10-year chart, right? Now this is another thing that's deceiving, right? You say, "Oh, look, it's going up." But look at the parameters, right? Like, the low is 1100 and the high is just under 2100, right? So just below 1100 high. So that's only $1,000 differential. Okay, so it bottomed out around 2016, around maybe 1050, and it peaked out at probably 2050. So $1,000 over a 5-year period. Okay, not even 5 years, which is good. Don't get me wrong. That's okay. But let's compare that to Bitcoin. Okay, we'll juxtapose the two. Okay, well, I just can go to Coinbase, right? So again, here's your all time. Okay, so what was that? 2016, right? So we'll go to 2016. Here you go. Bitcoin was $795 in 2016, and now it's $74,000. How can you possibly sit there with a straight face and say that gold's a better investment? Like, I just don't know how you can do that. That has gone up. Yeah, so since it came out, like, if you want to look at 2013, it's gone up 66,000, almost 67,000%. That's insane. Like, and then every time he gets on TV, he's like, it's like, oh, Bitcoin's a joke. No, I think you're the joke, buddy. Like, Gold has done absolutely nothing, right? So, anyways, it's just dumb. But okay, so you got this other guy, is Raul Paul. He's like a Soros guy. Um, just trying to figure out which one to watch. Again, here he is with the faces again. And like, I don't know, why is this guy always like this? But okay, I guess we'll watch this one just because I think the rest of them are kind of idiotic. And as soon as I see this stooge, I don't like that guy. But okay, we'll watch this one.
Boom shakalaka. Exactly 1 year since Bitcoin bottomed at $3,900. It's already 15x this year, and we have some insanely bullish buy signals flashing today. You'll definitely want to stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, we're talking about, hey, it's a year anniversary. Was that called Black Tuesday when Bitcoin just crashed phenomenally to $3,900? A year anniversary of that. Not only that, but some insane buy signals for Bitcoin, even at next to all-time highs. Still a buy. That's something that I normally don't say. Normally I say all-time high, do not buy. Apparently, right now with Bitcoin, all-time high, do buy. Now, we're going to get into all of that. Before we do, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell. Also, come join us over on Twitter at The Crypto Love for some exclusive giveaways. Now, we already talked about this a year ago. Can you believe it? From $3,900 to almost $60,000. 15x in 1 year. Bitcoin. Who would have thought? I mean, I knew it was coming, but who would have thought it was going to happen that quickly? Now, if we take a look at what Bitcoin's been doing recently, these are the 4-hour candles. We broke out of this wedge here, and basically Bitcoin's now sitting above the 21-day moving average, butting up right against previous all-time highs, right around $59,000. Could potentially be moving up because right now Bitcoin's sitting in the upper bounds of this bullish megaphone, mostly because of this weak 4-hour MA200, this orange line right here that's riding the bottom of it. Bitcoin hasn't really broken below there for much time at all. Now, likely the nearest target we're headed for right around $75,000. I mean, I had a Bitcoin prophecy like a year ago that it was going to hit $70,000. But who knows? We might have $275,000 this year. Now, buy signals galore. Forget buying the dip. MicroStrategy buys 15 million more of Bitcoin as it nears all-time highs. That's right. He bought it at an average price of $57,146. Michael Saylor is still buying Bitcoin way up here. Now, on average, that brings his holdings to about 91,326 Bitcoin at an average price of $24,214 a piece. Now, who wouldn't take that? I mean, buy a Bitcoin for $24,000, sell it for $60,000. That's like tripling your money. But if we take a look, he is still buying right now. But he's not the only one. As a matter of fact, Bitcoin whales bought more during the dip as orders for 100,000 or more hit all-time highs. If we take a look at this graph right down here, okay, I'll explain it for you. I'll try and get it out of my head. But this area, you can see this purple and this brown. These are orders greater than 100,000. So this is greater than 100,000 to a million and greater than a million to 10 million. And as we can see here, right behind my head, the brown and the purple are near all-time highs. The institutions are buying in. Not only large institutions, but also smaller institutions like this Philly t-shirt company allocating $1 million of its cash reserves to Bitcoin and ETH. People are losing faith in fiat currencies because of all the printing, like $1.9 trillion of stimulus packages just being printed, and instead companies are putting their reserves into Bitcoin and ETH, and that's going to send the price intergalactically. This is Rush Order T's who put $1 million into crypto. Now, let's take a look at what my favorite analyst is saying. Willy Woo is saying 35% of the available Bitcoin supply was bought in the last 3 months. That's right, a third of the available supply was bought in the last 3 months. 5% of that supply was bought at prices above $1 trillion market cap. He goes on to say that if we take a look at things, it's still not overextended. We are still in a very healthy market. This isn't actually him. This is Jan and Yen, Negentropic. But they say that what defines a healthy rise in Bitcoin's price? One that's backed by on-chain volume. When the price increases too fast without allowing blockchain activity to catch up, it's often not sustainable. But Willy Woo's NVT is a classic, and it still looks beautiful. As you can see here, basically, as the price and as the on-chain volume follows this green trend line, we are still not overextended. It got a little overextended back here in January, but for the most part, we are still well below it right now. Furthermore, Bitcoin, although it's once again near all-time highs, there's solid on-chain support below here. So despite the price being at all-time highs and despite Michael Saylor buying it at $57,000, probably mostly because he's buying at $57,000, we have very solid on-chain support. This is showing how many coins are bought at each price level. And as we can see here, big spike here.
Okay, so this, in my opinion, it's not really telling us anything we don't already know. Yeah, we know the whales are buying it. We know that Michael Saylor obviously is spearheading a lot of this. Again, you know, is this current price a lot? Is it cheap? It's really hard to say because like everything's relative. Because the way I look at it, and I might have mentioned this before, the way I look at it is like houses. I remember way back in the 70s, my dad bought a house for $23,800 in 1970. And he said all his buddies at work laughed at him. They said, "Oh, you paid way too much for that house." And we lived in that house for 10 years, and he sold it in 1980 for, I think it was 55,000, 52,000 or 55,000. I can't remember what it was. And he sold for 55,000. So he more than doubled his money. And then he bought another house for $87,500. So he put, 50,000 of that onto the house, and he had a $37,000 mortgage. And the guy, again, all the guys laughed at him. You paid too much for that house. You're going to lose all your money, so on and so forth. Anyways, that house was just sold for $1.3 million. Okay. So, but anyways, the point is that, okay, you're saying right now, Bitcoin and I'm going by Canadian dollars, is 74,000. Okay. $74,000. That's the current price. If somebody were to say to you, you could buy a house, brand new house for 74,000, you say that's cheap. You know what I mean? In this market, houses are $1 million, if somebody said to you, you know what, I can put you in a time machine, you can go back and buy that house for $73,000. You'd go in a second. So maybe, right. But again, it's all relative. It's all speculation, but I'm saying maybe we're living in that golden era where you can buy houses for $70,000. And one day they're going to be over $1 million, because we've seen it with the housing market. I personally lived through that. There's no way in the world, if you sat down and told my parents in 1980, because when they bought that house, that was a lot of money, $87,000. And they had a really good down payment because they paid off their other house, and they threw I think it was over $50,000 on the house. So they had around a $35,000 mortgage. But anyways, if you would have told them, one day this house is going to be worth $1.3 million, they would have just looked at you and started laughing in your face. It'd be like saying to you, if I was to sit you down right now and say, okay, buy Bitcoin, it's cheap. One day, one Bitcoin is going to be worth $1.4 million. You'd probably just start laughing. You'd probably say, "Oh, I don't believe that." I personally have seen something go like that. Now granted, houses, you can actually live in it. It serves a purpose. This is just, a non-tangible thing, right? But I'm saying I've actually seen that in my lifetime, where things in that first house that they bought for $23,000, I think that house is like 1.2, 1.3 million now. It's something like that. because it's in a better location than their other house, but it's a much smaller house. But it just so happened that that area was very sought after. But that house is over $1 million too. Again, if somebody would have said to you back in 1970, give me $23,000 today, and one day I'll give you $1.3 million, you wouldn't believe it. It just wouldn't. It's beyond your comprehension, right? So again, this isn't financial advice, and I'm not saying this is 100% going to happen, but I'm saying things like this have happened. Like it's there's all kinds of documentation that can prove it. Just look at the housing market over the last 40 years, 50 years. It just kept growing and growing. But I personally do think that the housing market itself, it has to come to an end. There's no way, because interest rates can't go down anymore. And you know what I mean? Like it can't go up. It just can't. Like people just don't, unless people start making tons of money, like way more, income, and they're not. But I just can't see that going on. But like I'm saying, I've actually seen in my lifetime something go from 20 grand up to over $1 million, and it can happen. So anyways, this is just my take on Bitcoin, that I think a lot of that money from real estate is going to come out and go into Bitcoin, so, but anyways, that's my take on it. I'll see you tomorrow, and have a great day. Take care.